everyone, nice to see you again. I can pretend that I can see you. I thought I would do my weekly vlog right now since the house is empty and hopefully the dogs are a little bit calm. Won't last, but we can pretend, we can hope. First of all, I found out in one of my earliest videos I mentioned that I'm prone to laryngospasms or laryngospasms. I'm never quite sure what's the correct pronunciation. I've heard both. And I found out that what I have is called irritable larynx syndrome, and it's getting really bad. I've had it for about 12 years, and it's just continuously getting worse and worse. And I say that because there are a lot of, I think, awkward splices in my video editing, and that's usually because I'm cropping out or editing out coughing fits or places where my voice has given out on me. So yeah, so that's fun. And I live in a very high allergen area, a place where right this time of year the pollen is terrible. Apparently we've also got a lot of particulate matter in the air right now because of fires, so it's just really bad. And I have to do that all the time. I'm just constantly sipping or sucking on throat lozenges or something like that. So I apologize for the really awkward videos. I mean, it would just take me forever to record if I had to constantly re-record every time my voice gets out. It is partially aggravated by tension, and because I'm new at the videos, I'm always kind of nervous about them, and you know, that creates tension in my throat, which just aggravates the whole situation. So all that to say, thank you for putting up with my awkward editing and my difficult voice, and being here anyway to just follow along in something that does kind of off camera anyway, relax me and let me have a good time and not have to worry about my voice when I'm not recording. So the updates, I didn't get a ton of time in the workshop over the last week. There were some extra things that I had to do that kind of took up some of my normal workshop time, but the first thing, the office supplies. So I have now cut and designed and cut a little magazine box. So that will be part of the set. I got some miniature pencils in, and I had started making some pencil cups, and I want to show you what's going on there because something's not working and I need to figure out how to deal with it. So my original plan was to use pieces of straws to make a pencil cup, and I filled in the bottom of them with some glue. That may be taking up too much room, so there might be another way I can approach this. I did get a hold of some miniature pencils. I mean, look at them, aren't they cute? They're so tiny. However, they're a little bit off scale. So if I put these up against my my 12 scale ruler, which if you remember it has these inches are divided in increments of, let me pick this up so you can see it better, of 12, so that you can see, you know, what the 12th scale equates to. This pencil, if I hold it there, try to get that in focus. I don't know how well you can see that, but that comes out to about 9 inches. I think the pencil looks great. I don't think that if you see that in a dollhouse, you would necessarily go, oh my god, that's way too big. Maybe you would. I think it's going to depend on how I stage it. The problem is it really is too big, because here's a pencil which admittedly I've used like once or twice, but I haven't, you know, resharpened it or anything. And this pencil is 7 1/4 inches. So this miniature pencil is the equivalent of 1.5 inches too long. Okay, so what happens when I put it in the cup, which is the right height, you know, I did do the cup to scale based on something that I'd seen for sale online. the pencil's just really sticking out a little bit too much over the top, and I can just see that constantly falling out. Yeah, I could glue it in there somehow or something like that. I might be able to get away with making this pencil cup over and just making it a little bit higher. I might be able to fill the bottom a little differently. And I also have one other thought about where to store the pencils. So that's all in question right now. I just really haven't decided how I'm going to address this issue yet. More on scale issues to come. As far as the actual dollhouse goes, I'm still working on painting these balustrades. I'm getting near the end of them. I timed myself, and it takes 45 minutes for me to get one coat on these, and they all need 2 coats. They'll need some additional touch-up after I cut them and glue them up there too. I did get some suggestions about spray painting. I probably could have done that if I'd done it from the beginning with all of this trim and the trim on the dollhouse, but I don't want to change paint and colors at this point in the project. I also got a suggestion about dipping them in a can of paint or something and then like brushing off the excess with a paintbrush. I may give that a try on one of the pieces, just, you know, like on a scrap piece first to see how it works, if it will behave, and if I can, you know, keep from getting globs and drips and stuff. So I made some, I cut down some larger porch railing pieces to make some trim for the top parts of the porch, and I will be talking about that when I go back to trim videos. This is all taped up right now because I had taped it together so the glue would dry solid. So we'll be talking about that. I mentioned in a previous video that I had a porch column that I really loved, and unfortunately I have not been able to find any of them in the US, and my wholesaler that I got those from is the one in UK that I can't afford to deal with right now because of the tariffs for China. Oh, and by the way, I did finally get the shipping bill or whatever from DHL after they shipped my box back, and they charged me 145% on the entire order, even though only 2 of the items what? Even though only 2 of the items originated in China. One or two of them originated in the UK, and the others I didn't know what the initials meant, but they weren't China. And as far as I know, the only 145% tariffs at that time were on China. So, I mean, the whole thing was just a colossal 4-letter word. Anyway, but I did buy some other pillars. I mean, which in a way, these are a little bit longer, so I'll actually be able to cut these to the size that I need. The other ones, I was going to have to fit them in. They had little like pegs on the end, and I was going to have to actually fit them into the trim. So, I mean, in reality, this is probably, I just don't love these as much. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. And when I put them all in there together, I'm sure they're going to be fine and I'll be happy with them. And the truth is, these are going to be easier to deal with. The others were just like a little bit short, and I would have had to put them into the porch structure in a different way that would have been more complicated. So I have a set of these. I have 2 sets of these actually, because I haven't decided how many I'm going to put in. And so that's where that is at. So that's so for now, you know, I just have to continue with the painting of the balustrades for the house, and then painting the rest of the porch pieces, and hopefully get that done. And hopefully have next week is a week when I watch my grandson quite a lot more. I have an alternating week. I watch him 3 times every other week. And you know, I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'm not complaining at all, believe me. But it does kind of take away from some of my workshop time. But he loves me so much, and I love him so much that I don't care. He's the best thing ever. But yeah, it does slow me down a little bit on my projects. All right. So inventory, I did add a couple of new items to my shop. I added a parlor stove. You can see an Instagram, TikTok, Facebook post about that. I also added some dish sets, and I'd actually ordered in several dish sets, and I returned one of the sets. So here's my little rant. I did a rant on TikTok and Instagram about scale. I am really fussy about scale in my dollhouse. I don't want things that are sort of the right size and you can get away with it. And I'm already making allowances for that pencil that I just showed you in the desk set project that I'm working on, where I'm kind of trying to figure out, can I make this work even though it is the equivalent of 1.5 inches too long if you look at it in real life. So so I ordered this dish set, and if I can find, I've already sent it back, but if I can find I think I have a photo of it somewhere and I'll put it in here. And this dish set was so ridiculously out of scale. It was a huge, beautiful dish set, but it had 2 large platters that in 1/12 scale, and that's what it was sold for, would have measured 27 inches wide. Okay, that's over 2 feet wide. Like, you don't really carry platters, generally speaking, like maybe in a restaurant, you know, or a banquet, but in your house, you don't generally have platters that are 27 inches wide. And then the sugar bowl I measured, I think was going to end up, I think I said it was going to be like 10 inches tall in real life. If that was like, you know, if I looked at the scale, 10-inch tall sugar bowl, it was just crazy. So then I thought, okay, maybe we can use this in 1/6 scale. And so I thought I would do it that way. Well, even in 1/6 scale, it was just wildly off. The platter would work. The sugar bowl was, you know, kind of like 5 inches tall. Still a little bit too big, but it did have kind of like a pointy dome cover, which you could say, okay, maybe that's just a style, it might work. But then you ended up with cups that were like 2 inches round and, you know, 2¼ inches high. And like, you know, demi-tasse cups, maybe, okay, but like, the whole thing just didn't work. And I get so irritated when they just kind of go, let's just make it small and call it a day. Like, be true to scale, you know? It's not that, it can't be that hard to do. Make it true to scale. So the other dish sets that I have, and I'll get one of those. The other dish set that I did keep and list in the shop are also sold as 1/12 scale, but I'm selling them as 1/6 scale. Here's the green set. It really is cute. Because of the high dome on this sugar bowl, it's still a little bit large for a 1/6 scale. I think it comes out, where's my scale ruler? I think it comes out in real life to about, let's see, 3, 4, 5. It comes out to about, yeah, about 5 inches tall, which is still a bit high. And this comes out, I think, to about 4.5 inches tall. Still a bit high. This comes out to about 8 inches tall, which is a little on the small side, but still in the realm of reality. I mean, pitchers do come in different sizes. So that's not a ridiculously small thing, but the cups do measure well, I think. You know, I think, what did I measure them at? Yeah, that's about 3 inches diameter across the top of the cup. So, you know, that's not an unreasonable size for a cup. So I am selling these in my 1/6 scale section of my shop. So this one has pretty little green modern geometric pattern, and then they also have blue dots, which I thought were really cute. And it's such a pretty shade of blue. And then blue flowers, really cute. I love the little blue flowers. And I have a 1/6 house that I want to fix up and salvage. It was my childhood dollhouse, and it suffered an incredible amount of damage, which I'm just so unhappy about. But it's going to be fun to make it over someday. And I really wanted to use maybe this one in the house. But as I said in my TikTok, etc. post, I don't think I will. I think all of these designs are a little bit too modern. And that dollhouse Right now it's kind of a colonial house, but I'm really leaning toward maybe going Regency with it. I would love to do a Regency house and dress my dolls with Regency clothes and hair and everything. So that's kind of where I'm leaning. But that project is way down the road. I've got so much work to do on this beast back here. So so these probably won't end up in my house, but they do come in lots of other patterns, which I may eventually add if they're good sellers, or maybe I'll just get one for myself for the house. Okay. But yeah, I mean, scale, just, it's one thing when I'm making my stuff, I am measuring everything and doing everything in my power to get it exactly on scale, at least as much as I can. Oh, the last thing I wanted to do was give you the update on the peacock tapestry. This is about 18 3/4 hours into this project. So the tree is looking like a tree, and these red things are supposed to be pomegranates. I've got all the pomegranates done, and I'm a pretty good way through the leaves. I'm still really enjoying this. I find this very, very relaxing to do in an evening. But it is definitely going to take a lot of hours to do. And this is something that I would eventually like to get into, maybe designing some rugs of my own and selling them. They would definitely be a very high-priced item because it is a ton of work to make one of these. Relaxing work, but there's no getting around the fact that it takes a lot of time. Okay, so those are my updates for the week. I'm hoping that this actually looks different, a little bit different by next week. Like, I'd be really thrilled if it at least had a little more of this balustrade trim on it, so that it looked like I was making some progress. But I think that's everything for today. So, and of course I had not that much trouble with my voice today, because it seems like whenever I tell people, which I frequently do when I'm with people for long periods of time, and or it's, you know, like if I have new piano students, or I'm, you know, having a meeting with somebody that's going to go on for a little length of time or whatever, I always tell them, like, hey, I have this thing, I might have coughing fits, I could have a laryngospasm, this is what it looks like. Just, you know, sorry, 1 second. So I just, sorry, I forgot to turn my phone off. Shame on me. But if I tell people that I'm going to have this issue, I hardly have any issue. So hopefully that has exorcised the demon, and in the future when I'm doing these videos with you, I'm not running into too many problems with my voice. And if you don't mind me just sipping water a little bit in my videos and having a few of these awkward transitions where I have to edit out the occasional coughing fit, or, you know, whatever it is, we can keep going with this, because as much as I actually don't like social media, I'm kind of enjoying creating these things and looking forward to, like, advancing my skills and you know, figuring out how to make something that's appealing and watchable, that people will want to come back and see more of. So thank you for being with me. I'll see you soon.